our podcast Episode 2. We have Giacomo Sellar again as our guest. Very, very, very trained actor from Canada. That's where we met. And today we like to go in a little bit about Aqpane, Aqua Wall Panel, a acrylic water partition.
Aqpane is actually one of my favorites.
All
I
right.
think one of your favorites. Yeah. It's is it one of your favorites?
Yeah, I really like it. I can just keep looking at it, and I get kind of healed every time I finish filming. I feel very relaxed afterwards.
And you don't need anything special to do it. You just need a normal outlet like that you'd use for a charger for your phone. That's all you need. You don't need a piping or any special electricity. It's closed. It's an own closed thing. The generation of water is negligible, so you're not going to like refill it or anything like that for a very long time. But it's this closed system that you could use to make walls, to make partitions. You could use it for the front entrance of something, but the water's constantly flowing, and there's little tiny marks inside of the acrylic to create this different water, dynamic water movements and patterns. And this creates, like Tomo has said, this sense of restoration and this rehabilitation that you get from watching a fundamentally natural phenomenon, which is this flowing water that is illuminated. And you can see through it too. There are versions that are not see-through, that are kind of translucent or even opaque, but the default one is like transparent, so you can see through it, but it's warped. So I like to use the example of an office building where you have people doing normal cubicle work, but instead of the cubicles being typical drywall or whatever, you have these Aqpane, which, if you fill a whole room with those and you have that flowing around you, when you're kind of stuck with a job or an idea or writing something, you get exhausted, you just kind of lean back and you look and there's just water flowing. That's going to create a much better sense of sort of a reset and a rebalancing of the mind and the body rather than just a wall. So I think it's beautiful. It's quiet.
It's very quiet, yeah.
And I think it's quite cheap for what it is. It's
You're right, yeah.
It's a good deal. It's a good deal.
It depends on how you see it, but yeah.
Yeah.
And it's easy to assemble. So it comes with 3 pieces. One is the top base, and then the bottom is the bottom base, and then the middle acrylic panel. So Aqpane is basically a short time of aqua wall panel, and water keeps circulating within these acrylic panel, and we can ship them overseas or domestic, or if you really need us to install, we can go there and install. But most of people can figure out, and it runs on regular power outlet, and because it's confined within the acrylic panel, you can kind of pretend you're touching the water, but it's just you can't touch it. And then this acrylic panel is very thick and specialized, special made, so it doesn't get damaged unless you smash it or something.
Don't smash it.
Don't smash it, man. Yeah. Each piece costs about 1 million yen.
About 10,000 Canadian dollars.
How much is in US dollars? Do you know?
Maybe even 5,000-6,000.
Yeah,
US
you
dollars.
can have relaxing.
And there's the pillar one too, right? The column.
You're right.
Pillar, which is like as it sounds, a column, a spherical pillar that is in. So it's enclosed inside, but it's falling on the inside of that column.
That's right.
And so it's really nice for like a big hotel lobby or an office building lobby. Something very vertical because it can go really high up.
Yeah, right.
Super high, like 7 meters, around there, and the lights are then built inside, illuminating within the water, and the water itself is carrying the light throughout. So it's actually so beautiful to look at and very mesmerizing. Yeah. And the variety that you can kind of places you can do. People have done it indoors mostly, but you can also do it outdoors. I think we have that one particular clip here of the Shinto shrine that has the jinja that has an Aqpane attached to it, which is just goes to show you're not limited to any particular setting. I think one of our favorite styles, one of my personal favorite styles for the Aqpane is to do it combined with vegetation, to have it with like on an indoor situation with plants around it or nearby it or behind it. So when you're looking through the rippling effect, you're seeing some green matter. And I think that's the ultimate combination is flowing water with green matter, with
Yeah.
nature, with plants. That's the fundamental instinctive thing that restores us. I mean, that goes to the whole idea of forest bathing in Japan, right? This idea that you go into the forest and you're just in nature and it restores you. And I think that that's something that's fundamentally connected to Japanese culture, is this idea of being in nature. It's really easy, even if you live in the middle of Tokyo, to get to the middle of nature. You can take a train from where I live, which is the center of Tokyo, and a direct train from here that's just over an hour, literally to the middle of the mountains, like right with the foot of the mountains in the west of the country, of the Tokyo area. And you're just in nature now. So it's very, very fundamental to Japanese culture to be close to nature. Jinja, all the Japanese Shinto shrines in the country have nature with them. They need to be with trees and green. So you have these beautiful pockets throughout Tokyo that are just in the middle of the metropolis. You'll have these trees pouring out of between some buildings, and inside there's a torii gate and there's a jinja. So there's always nature, and I think that WaterPearl has kind of captured a sense of that fundamental nature by creating Aqpane in particular. That's the ongoing flow, this cyclical, endless, infinite flow of water from the ether, from the great beyond. You know, that's providing us with a rejuvenating energy that we need.
Rejuvenation, for sure. Yeah, it's that's on point. It's any place you wanna provide a sense of healing, as opposed to more like a WaterPearl based kind of like excitement, but this is more like a healing and relaxation vibe. So like clinics, office, hotel receptions, very popular around those areas, and the color of the lightings is customizable. So that's one thing to know. You can also change your remote by a remote control as well. And most importantly, right now Japanese yen is really weak. So if you wanna buy it, now is the chance, I think. Before things get better in Japan, get it.
And they will get better.
They will get better. Help us get better, but do it now, and then
do it now. Do it. Help Japan get better and benefit.
You can do those things together. Yeah. That's good.
Make your life more beautiful and help Japan become
beautiful.
Yeah, we can. Yeah.
When you started working with people in WaterPearl, well, initially it was a remote work. You did voiceover for us.
What matters most resides in the heart.
And then you came to Japan and you started doing acting for us and talking about these products. And you had opportunities to actually meet and work with these guys and ladies,
these guys and girls,
these nerds in WaterPearl. But how has it been, would you say?
Oh, working with WaterPearl has been an incredible delight. I mean, it's interesting because WaterPearl was my first experience working with a Japanese entity, group, company, like business, in any real true capacity as an actor. So I was very, because of my long-term, my lifelong aspiration to live in Japan, be in Japan, work in Japan as an actor. When you first asked me if I wanted to participate in promo video for this Japanese company, I was like, oh wow, me, I was so excited. And it was great, and we had a lot of fun doing it. And then, like you said, came to Japan and actually did it here in person. And first thing that I remember was that I was nervous, but I was also incredibly humbled to be there. Like I think the first thing that we did was we went to the office, right? That was the first encounter. We went to their headquarters and we looked at the showroom, and I met some of the staff, like Miyazaki-san was there, I think, and other folks. And then we shot the now quite famous, relatively famous WaterPearl video. But what struck me was how present everybody was. Like, the guys who were just kind of like standing to the side, and whenever you would ask for them to change the direction of the water or whatever the frequency of the lights, they're just like ready to do it. Like they're just there and they're quietly waiting and very happy to be there and humble. And then I thought that was like a WaterPearl thing. Like they're just like really like, I'm just here and ready. Just, whatever you need. And I realized that's not just WaterPearl. That's like everybody, like all the businesses I worked in Japan. But WaterPearl has a very particular energy, and that is that they operate on such a like global scale, but it's such a small company, and it feels like a family. Like when I first met Fukano-san, I was like, you're gonna meet the CEO now. And she comes in and she's like an auntie. She's like a mom, you know. Yeah. She's just so maternal, positivity, warmth. She's such a wonderful smile. Like her eyes smile, you know what I mean? So even I think when I first met her, she was wearing a mask, but like her eyes smile very beautifully, you know. And so there's like an incredible sense of like welcoming and generosity of spirit with her. And I think one of the things that we've spoken about in the past was when we were shooting the Aqpane video at the studio. And we had like some other staff were there setting up the Aqpane.
Right,
and then partway through. Yeah, Yoshida-san was there, yeah. And partway through the shoot, I think it was around like 2 or 3 in the afternoon when Fukano-san came in, and she had brought like a big bag of sandwiches and,
right, yeah, I remember,
and coffee. And it's like, here's the CEO, and she's like, is anybody hungry? Do you need anything? Like, is everybody okay? You know, and it just, again, it feels like your mom is just taking care of you, you know. There's an incredible warmth there. And I want to highlight that because I think that when people think, oh, it's a Japanese company, it must be so rigid and, you know, you're going to get smacked in the head if you don't do everything perfectly. It's like, no, like that's just not true. WaterPearl is an incredibly family energy when you're working there, when you're working with them, when you're among them, you know what I mean? And we had that nice dinner when we went to have a motsunabe, you know, and we were just talking about
culture,
like life and philosophy, and you know, and it's just it feels very personal working with WaterPearl. It feels like everybody has a personal stake in it, and that they care about what they're doing and they want to do their best. And it's not because they want to do their best because it's their job or they you know, get more money because of it. They do their best because they care about what they do. It's built into their very being that I'm going to do my best in this thing because I want to provide my absolute top so everybody can do their best. And together, if we all do our best, we can elevate. We can make the world a better place. And I do feel like that's what it is. I feel like there's a sense of, maybe they don't speak about it. I'm not sure what the inter-office conversations are, but I feel like there's a sense of we can change the world for the better through water. You know, it's like it, and I believe that that's true. You know, it's like whatever we're doing in our lives, whether you're an actor or you're designing amazing water installations, or you're a waiter, or you're a hairdresser, or a photographer, or videographer, whatever it is, if you do your best and you give your soul to what you do, in a sense, you can make the world a better place. You know, it sounds like we used to hear these things growing up, but make the world a better place through things you do. It's like, it sounds kind of grand and out of reach, but I do believe that at fundamental level, the way the world is a better place is if everybody in their personal life does their best and gives love and generosity and a sense of selflessness to what they do and to the people around them, because that creates just it's like a ripple effect, you know.
That's a good
point. So that's what I get from WaterPearl. WaterPearl is that.
Yeah.
WaterPearl is that.
I did interview all of them and see just to understand more about like the company culture and how people feel about the company and business and about the future. And they're very tight to each other, very kind of, you can say, a good functioning family dynamics, I guess. Interestingly though, they don't do after hours nomikai, like they don't go for drink. Like they have this clear separation between private life and a professional life. But which is another point they often bring up. This is kind of very unique working environment in Japan, because most of them worked for different companies before, and then they gained really practical skills and experiences, and then they come to WaterPearl. They tend to be very curious. That's something I found out. Like they tend to be very curious about what they do, and also maybe that's why like, they get really excited whenever they have you, or me coming over and doing some projects. It's just like excuse for them to get out from desk and then just to adjust the water flow frequency. I think they really enjoy it.
Just yeah.
Yeah, there you go. But in terms of like a result, I think that's something they really can feel as well, because the way they work is they have about 10 guys in the company. It's not like a huge scale company, but it's quite solid, like a team. And how it works is, so one of them gets a phone call, or whoever gets the phone call, they tend to have that project until the end. So they do the sales, initial sales conversation, explanation, and then the designing, and then instruction to install. If it's overseas, they would go to overseas, and then for oversee the production until the end. So they get to see their product or their design to be actualized at the end. I think that's maybe something you touches kind of to one of the things you said about the change. Like they can feel the change, whether it's big or not.
Yeah. So true, man. I mean, and what an incredible experience that must be to come in one day to the office, and then you get, it's just a normal day. I'll do my normal routine, and you get a call from someone in like, Italy, right? And like, oh, we're opening this, we want to renovate this big gallery, right?
Yeah.
Tuscany or whatever. And then all of a sudden they spend the next like year just like on this job,
Yeah.
just out of nowhere. And it's quite incredible to see that kind of personal commitment, on a consistent level, and that responsibility that is taken with these jobs. And I think that there's something very special about that kind of openness and then the personal investment that comes with that, and the sense of responsibility. And I think that's where we all shine the best, is when we do take responsibility for something, especially with other people. And we make certain sacrifices that maybe initially we didn't think we wanted to do or never occurred to us. But that's when we're at our best. We're at our best when we're challenged, and when we have to push ourselves forward and do something for others that in the short term doesn't benefit us. That's the beauty of life.
Also having fun, at the same time. I think they actually enjoy their work, which is great, really good. It's very relaxed environment, oddly relaxed environment. Like there's a new girl in the office. She's taking over one of the ladies in the company who is going to retire soon. She's been the old lady accountant, essentially, and admin stuff has been supporting the company for God knows how many decades. And then this new girl initially had different job in the fish market. I think it either Tsukiji or Toyosu, as an also admin. And then she came here, came to WaterPearl. And she said the contrast was very staggering. It's very, very different contrast. In the fish market, a bit more like a traditional area, I guess, in the working environment in Japan. She witnessed a lot of like hard stuff going on. Then she came to WaterPearl, and then she was like, there's no such company that serves you a snack at 3 p.m. by a CEO, which is like a maternal, I guess, thing, maybe again, from council. But it's very kind of, every time I go there, they seem to be having some very relaxed vibe. And, Fukawa-san has few things to say about it. Sometimes she likes to kind of tighten things up a bit. Interesting, because there are so many guys in the company, and because the new girl in the company, they tend to pick up the phone call much quicker, which is kind of, they don't want to show out, they don't want to look like, old middle-aged guys who's lazy. So it's this kind of...
Sure enough, efficiency has gone up 20%. It's just like, it is cool. Yeah, that's good. I mean, and it's nice. I think there's something for me romantic about the fact that the company WaterPearl that makes these beautiful installations has a very relaxed vibe. It just makes sense. I mean, it's part of the philosophy. I mean, if you look at what we did on the website, when you and I were writing the descriptions and everything, a big part of what these installations are meant to do is just to create a sense of peace or a sense of serenity and restoration, and kind of reinvigorate our bodies and our souls and our minds when life is so full of chaos and stress. And I think that the staff of WaterPearl they embody that. It's nice to see. It's very reassuring to see that in fact does permeate the very people who are providing the service.
You're right. Yeah.
There's something special about that.
Working with the WaterPearl people, was there anything you felt like, oh, this is very Japanese?
I mean, one thing that comes up is how quickly they set up and tore down the Aqpane. The unspoken efficiency, the silent efficiency. You know what I mean? Like they don't know what they're doing. They don't need to fill the air with unnecessary chatter. And I'm not saying people should shut up, but there's something to be said about being able to do things efficiently and well at a good level without having to talk the whole time.
Right.
Just being able to do it. You know what I mean? It's very coordinated, and sure, maybe they're experienced at it. They've done it a lot of times, perhaps, and perhaps they're just, it's in their bones at that point. But I think that's one of the things about WaterPearl that's great, and that it's I would say distinctly Japanese is the peace and quiet, the silence. The silence of efficiency is something very special.
Right.
That there's like an awe. There's so much is happening all the time, and even if it's a busy place like this, if you don't mind, I'd like to zoom out a little bit on this. For example, when you go to a busy station, like when I go to, Tokyo Station or Ginza Station. Although Ginza is a bit harder to say because there's a lot of tourists there. But any major station, like a subway station, a train station, and there's a lot of people walking around. I felt this the most when I was in Nagoya more recently, because Nagoya, there's less non-Japanese people. There's more just Japanese. So Nagoya Station, it's just so busy, big station, lots of people, but it's like quiet, And I think a lot of people can attest to this who come to Japan. You go to like a big crossing, even Shibuya Crossing, which is so full and so famous. It's surprising how quiet it is, despite all the people that are walking.
All right, considering the amount,
It's just, and I love that about Japan. Dude. I love how quiet it is, despite the amount of people walking around, and how organized it is. Like I remember when I went to Omatsuri in Narita town, not Narita city, and this is like a year ago, I think, summer, and I was my first time going to Omatsuri, and there was the omikoshi, right? No, that's the name of the thingy, right? Yeah, exactly. And so there's the whole street is closed up.
How would you describe that in English, though? Like,
the omikoshi, a hand drawn.
It's not a
cart.
It's kind of a
no,
cart, but
there's no wheels. It's like it's like a hand drawn. There is a word for this, and I'm not remembering it. Carriage, cart.
Timing running. Pagoda?
It's a pagoda. No, not pagoda. Not pagoda. It's with a P. No, I'm so close, dude. Parabola, pagoda, dude, it's right there, man. It's right. Anyway,
it will come.
so there will be an image, and then maybe we'll find out what it is.
Yeah.
But the whole street is full of people, right? And the street food, and in the middle there's this whole carrying the beautiful wooden hand carved thing, and there's musicians on top playing traditional instruments, and there's all the people in front and behind it who are doing the dancing and the chanting and all that and the singing. But it's so organized. Like you have like people moving along the edge of the street, kind of observing, and then also going to the street food. But there's a flow, and then there's like an unspoken lane of movement,
right? And
there's an unspoken lane of movement in the other direction, and no one's getting in each other's way, and it's quiet. Like there's music playing, people are chanting, but other than that, it's quiet. You know what I mean? And I just, the last thing I remember doing in Canada that was like a large event with a lot of people like that would probably be like the Canadian exhibition in Toronto,
St. Patrick Day
in the summer, which is I just never want to go back to that. That's for sure.
Oh really? I had a good time.
No, it's too busy, man. It's too crazy. There's too many people, and there's no organization. This is what I mean. There's like in the Japanese society and culture, the people have a built-in sense of organization and like order. Like you know you're gonna walk behind the person in front of you. There's a kind of unspoken like cue, and then we all move together, and you're considerate of people around you. You don't get in the way, you know, and you're quiet. But in Canada, it's pure chaos. You know, sorry Canada, I love you. But
I gotta object a bit. Like to me, my experience, Japan is a bit for sure. Japan is really like organized and quiet. I would call that like a perversion level, and then the Canada is a bit more like in middle. Like it's not as organized as Japan, but it's not as dirty or chaotic as like Los Angeles or Manhattan. To me, it's a bit more like maybe like in like global scale. I haven't traveled every countries, but I feel like Canada is maybe somewhere in the middle, kind of floating. Sometimes it goes up, sometimes it goes down, and then the more extreme end that I have been to it might be like some really busy street in India or Ho Chi Minh City motorbike, which has some certain rule. They have their own chaotic rules, but it's just different. Just like Canada is a bit more like in like. It's better than Los Angeles for sure. Like
did you have experiences?
Just the air. Just yeah. We don't have to.
I mean,
be.
we could go into this. But it's dangerous territory.
It's a little bit, but it's a very unique place for sure. Like Japan itself, I think, and WaterPearl is more unique within that like these environments too, I think, and which is kind of interesting. 100%. But you're right, the way they work, quiet, efficient. It's more like a really efficient chef kind of thing. Like they just do their thing and then cook their water-made monolith, which is water. But makes me think like you talk about the festival and things are organized. Kind of. We don't have to. We'll cut this out maybe later. I don't know. But there's a festival in Japan in countryside. I've never seen in person, but there's like a poster. It's called like a naked festival or something. It's a very traditional festival. Basically, what it is, I think they have like a fire, like a torch, and then a bunch of naked guys chase to scramble to take that torch.
Oh,
yeah. But I wonder. It's a very aggressive, violent festival. In somewhere in the Tohoku area, right? But I wonder, just before the festival, they were like kind of like standing and like just waiting for the time to start attacking each other, but just in a very organized way and quiet.
I would think so. I would think so.
And then when it starts, it's game on, and
it releases the beast, right? Yeah, they're like ready to go, lined up nicely, very patient and very cordial and quiet, and then go, and it's just unleashed. Yeah. Well, I mean, and that kind of reminds me of like in kendo, right?
Yeah.
Like when you do, or like even in sumo, I think in Japan.
Sure. Yeah. Right. There's
my understanding.
Right. You're right.
Right. When you're between bouts, you're very composed, and you're not. I think there was like a famous video somewhere of a kendo match where a guy he like did one of these after he got like a point. Right. And then that, like, I don't know if he got disqualified or he lost a point, but you're not supposed to show.
Right. Yeah.
You're supposed to be very stoic and kind of neutral in that way. You're not supposed to celebrate or anything like that. And I think in the West, that's kind of the opposite. I mean, obviously, we like big characters and big people who are boastful and all that kind of thing. But there's also a great respect for the way it's done in Japan. And I mean, you know me very well, and I think at this point, I made it very clear that I prefer the Japanese way in pretty much everything. It's very good for like pretty much. I don't know. I can't think of anything.
All right.
The only things I can think of that I would question. I can't think of anything right now. Right. Although, I do love this is very, peripheral, but I mean,
sure.
Certain cheeses are unavailable here. Or they're very expensive.
They could use a bit more.
Yeah. And that's okay. I'm willing to sacrifice the huge availability and prices, the cheaper prices of cheese that you can get in Canada, for everything else that comes with the exchange. You know, it's,
Mm.
again, we have to make sacrifices. And mine it happens to be cheese.
That's a beautiful thing. There's more room for us to like improve on. Like I'm sure if you like really look somewhere, like there might be some guy like dealing these
Yeah.
cheese. When I say improve, that
definitely.
means that like I like the fusion thing. Like so, I still think there's a huge variety of food that is available and that is loved by local people. But I think like I like how they arrange things a bit to the more local flavor, and like that's
100%.
like the culture, and one of the part of the culture in Japan, especially in Tokyo, I think.
Yep.
So like there is
Yep.
more cheese. Japanese people love wine and cheese, so if there's more cheese that they can learn and perhaps a bit arrange to their own taste. Yeah, I think that's good. That's
Yeah, for sure.
yeah.
I mean, to your point, Tomo, I mean, I think there absolutely is. There's a niche culture for everything in Japan.
You're
Like,
right.
no matter
Yeah.
what the thing is that you are interested in, there's somebody who's just like done it 110%, and they're the best at it. It's the shokunin mindset, right? There's a shokunin for everything.
Right.
Shokunin. Should I explain shokunin? Or I think.
Or otaku, or like I don't know.
Or otaku.
Or obsession.
There's a different connotation.
Craftsmanship.
Is it a profession? Yeah, shokunin is more of like a. Oh, my light. Hold on, my light went out. Illumination. There. Yeah, shokunin is the dedicated craftsman who's pursuing one goal with all of his being for a very long time, patiently and humbly. And then the otaku, I think we all know what otaku is, although I think otaku's meaning is a little bit slightly different in Japan than it is overseas. I think otaku is more generalized overseas, but
Sure.
Otaku is more like, I don't know, how would you explain otaku?
Otaku, it's basically nerd. But when I say otaku, like WaterPearl people is clearly otaku people about their product. And when I say, I mean complimentary way that it's just they like it what they're doing. And but I'm kind of trying to make it funny a bit too. But I think. Well, funny thing is if I say to them like you are kind of like WaterPearl shokunin, and then they go a bit, we not there yet, because they do collaborate a lot with like other professionals too, like other professional people who make the parts, some certain parts, and that's what shokunin is, a specification of certain things. So WaterPearl is a bit more like a bit collaborative thing. So they have to talk to the construction guys, they have to talk to the. If it's a big project, they have to talk to the designers of the bigger building scale, or they have to talk to the more like some certain parts manufacturers, and then they kind of like assemble things a bit, and then kind of coordinate as well. So it's a unique space for sure.
A lot of the time, what I would experience in Canada, and I'm sure a lot of other actors and talent can attest to this, is that you pretty much don't have a personal life if you want to do what we do professionally and full time and successfully. You can't have a full personal life. If you want to do acting, modeling, and all those things to the fullest extent, full time, and really achieve your goals, you have to be on call all the time, which is the same in Canada. Which is the same in Japan. However, when I would get an audition opportunity in Canada, it would be an email that says, I need you to record this audition or be at this audition at this time 2 days from now or tomorrow. Sometimes it's like short notice, get it done. There's no leeway. You know what I mean? In Japan, I get an email from my agent saying, we have this job coming up. These are all the shoot dates. These are the audition dates. This is all the information about where it is, what it is, how much it pays, the character, everything. All the information is there. And it's telling me when the audition is, when the shoot is, way ahead of time. And that's the initial submission phase. This is like, do you have the time? Can you confirm your availability for this opportunity? Can you give us your availability, what it looks like, how flexible it is? And it's usually, for example, I got a job. I auditioned for something back in July that I just shot in November, and the first audition was in September. So there was a lot of lead up to the actual project. So you know what I mean? Whereas in Canada, I'm getting, hey, we need you to go to this audition tomorrow, and there's no wiggle room. Figure it out kind of thing. So I feel like there's more of an organization here and an anticipation and a long-term view and a respect for people's time, for talent's time. So I really appreciate that. It's a lot easier to live my life as a person, as a private person, and organize my life and have plans in Japan's system rather than in Canada's, at least. And I don't know if they've changed, or maybe I was just foolish or whatever it was, but that's one of the major differences. You know what I mean? And I appreciate that in Canada's system, maybe the agent is jumping on the opportunity to submit me without my consent. That's fine. That's a different system. But I just didn't know that this was an option. And I like this system because it gives me full view of everything. And also the volume of opportunities that I'm receiving here in Japan is just incredible. I mean, I'm getting... I remember when I first signed with my agency and I wrote in my diary, I was like, oh man, I got 3 submissions in 1 week. If I could keep up this rate, this would be like life changing. This is like never before in my life have I been so busy getting these opportunities. And it's exceeded that. I'm very fortunate. It's exceeded that number. I mean, they're not all jobs that I'm booking, but these are opportunities to get work, So.
Yeah, looking back to my experience in Toronto, it did feel like things in Toronto are a bit more spontaneous. Like, it kind of happens on the go. But at the same time, I do feel like maybe that's because I was there as like a beginner photographer / videographer in the beginning. And, the opportunities I could get was very kind of last minute, not the big scale thing. So maybe the bigger the scales are, things tend to be a bit more organized. And maybe because there are more opportunities in Tokyo, the population size it's clearly different. But maybe because there are more opportunities, including the big kind of relatively large scale, big budget projects, maybe you have more chances to see more organized, things are decided type of projects. Maybe in Tokyo more. Maybe that's it sounds like that a bit.
100%. I think also because of the fact that, I mean, you look at, because I was living in Toronto. You were living in Toronto, right? So Toronto versus Tokyo. Toronto is a somewhat of a hub for production for film and TV.
For sure, yeah.
I would say it's more of a location shoot, like more of a destination for foreign. Like the big money comes from like U.S. coming in,
Hollywood,
rather than domestic productions. Whereas Tokyo is a huge hub for its own domestic production. I mean, you have great names like Godzilla is produced there, and all the anime and all these video games and all these different big name original Japanese productions. And Tokyo is also the biggest metropolis in the world. With so many people, it's everything's in Tokyo. It's really, so I'm very fortunate in that sense too, is that there's a high rate of production, whether it's big movie, TV dramas, commercials, or like little still photo shoots for a local jewelry company, like whatever it may be. It's just, there's so much happening here. And I think that that point is under discussed overseas on how much support there is in Japan, and Tokyo in particular in this case, for independent creativity. I think that we have this image of Tokyo and Japan as this place where, it's really hard to get anything done in terms of like the up and coming small business creative. Like there's no support, there's no interest in it. It's only the big name stuff, and the system is huge and it doesn't support that. But I would, in my experience, what I've witnessed and what I've experienced, there is far more support and openness to the small business groups and the small business creatives here in Japan than I ever would have thought. And I think it's more so than in Toronto. Like Toronto, in Canada, we have our, you get your grants and you write your grants and you apply for things. But I would say that there's just more general openness here for ideas.
Sure.
that don't have to fit a certain avenue or ideology, whatever it may be. You know what I mean? It's very flexible here, and because you combine that and how busy it is and how many people there are with the famous Japanese system of organization and efficiency, that's not something that is implemented. That is just how people are here. That's just how. I mean, you can speak to this more because you are Japanese and you grew up here. But in my experience, I mean, everybody here just operates on that level of like, let's go through, let's just be organized, let's work together, let's communicate, and it's very, very streamlined. So everything gets done very well and very quickly, and it's just an amazing thing to witness and to be a part of. You know, really something.
Yeah, I think Japanese maybe business kind of like landscape in general is kind of like a finding a niche. So like you said, you find a big project, but also you find a lot of small projects or small businesses, small art galleries or small restaurants / bar in the corner. And because the land is also very limited, you know, we don't have much big like real estate. But also I think we have enough, at least we've had big enough population to sustain these small businesses or projects. I think as long as you keep doing it, you might make it, that kind of thing. It's like maybe it's a bit similar. When I went to Manhattan, I felt the same way. Like there's a little weird bars or like art galleries, but it's like a bit more like a wider scale. Is maybe Tokyo, or maybe in Japan in general in terms of like that's the feeling. Yeah, I think that's a good place to end. Yeah. Next episode, we can probably touch on frequent asked questions about WaterPearl and then talk more
That's a
about
great idea.
different products the WaterPearl produces. And yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah.